This is my ranking of every upcoming DC project by how excited I am for it. And this isn't just including projects set in James Gunn's DCU, but every DC movie, show, and game from every continuity. There's a lot of projects, so I'm just going to jump straight into it. At number 39, I have Batwheels Season 3. I have no intention of watching this. It's just a kids show about the Bat family as they fight crime, but they each drive their own Batmobile, but the Batmobiles are sentient, and it's just stupid. I'm not watching this. At number 38, I have Teen Titans Go Season 9. Now, I know that Teen Titans Go is kind of going through a resurgence right now. It used to be super hated, but now people are starting to warm up to it, which is fine. You know, it has some good memes, but I am way too old to be watching kids shows like this. It's crazy because this show has been going on for over a decade. At number 37, I have the upcoming black-led Superman film. Now, don't take this the wrong way. I am not against including black characters or having diversity in superhero movies. That's all fine. But this is reportedly going to be an Elseworld story where Kal-El is black instead of white. Like, why are you changing the race of a character for no reason? It just seems pointless. At number 36, I have the Jurassic League. This is going to be an animated movie based on the comic of the same name, where all of the Justice League members are anthropomorphic dinosaur versions of themselves. This just seems weird. Like, apparently the comic was well received, which I'll just have to take their word on because I'm not a big comics reader. But it's just such a weird concept. I don't know. Maybe it'll be good, but I'm not hyped for it. At number 35, I have Constantine 2. I did not like the original Constantine, so I'm not excited for the sequel. But Keanu Reeves is awesome, and since so much time has passed since the original, it will be interesting to see what the plot will be. At number 34, I have the Sandman Season 2. Now, I know most people liked Sandman Season 1, but I honestly thought it was boring as hell. The anthology format didn't really work, and there were a lot of confusing moments. I'll still watch Season 2, but I am not excited for it. At number 33, I have Paradise Lost. This is an upcoming DCU series set on Themyscira, and will follow a civil war that happens before the birth of Wonder Woman. This just seems like a bad idea to me. Like, why would people want to watch a Wonder Woman show without Wonder Woman? They already did this with Superman twice, they did it with Batman twice. If they wanted to make a Wonder Woman project, why not just make a Wonder Woman movie that has Wonder Woman in it? That's what we all want. Now, it might be good, but it's just not a premise that interests me at all. At number 32, I have Waller. This is another DCU show that I don't really think we need. Like, was anyone really asking for an Amanda Waller spinoff? She's one of the most hated characters in the entire franchise. Antihero doesn't even cut it. She's more of a straight-up villain. And yeah, Penguin was good, but that's different because it's already tied to an already dark and gritty universe. This series just seems unnecessary. At number 31, I have Val-Zod. Val-Zod is an alternate universe version of Superman. He's the son of Zod, and he ends up becoming Superman instead of Kal-El. Now, to my knowledge, this character hasn't been adapted in anything before, but he seems interesting because he's more of an anti-hero than a straight-up hero. And Val-Zod will be played by Michael B. Jordan, who is great in everything. At number 30, I have Aztec Batman Clash of Empires. This is another animated Elseworlds movie that follows not Bruce Wayne, but a different version of Batman named Yohuali Coatl. After his father gets killed by Spanish mercenaries, he trains with the Joker to become Batman and defend his village from a Spanish invasion. And the main villain is going to be Hernan Cortez, who is an actual real-life person who existed in history, and he will end up becoming Two-Face. Now, none of this sounds genuinely good, but to be honest, this movie sounds so absolutely insane that I'm going to have to watch it just for the entertainment value alone. At number 29, I have the animated Milestone movie. This is going to adapt multiple characters from Milestone Comics, which is an imprint owned by DC. It will include Static, Hardwire, Icon, and Rocket. The only one of those characters that I'm familiar with is Static. I don't know any of the other characters, but most of the DC animated movies are pretty fun, so I have hope for this movie. At number 28, I have Clayface. This is going to be a horror movie set in the DCU. It will be about the original Clayface, who is an actor who accidentally bonds with a substance that turns him into clay. Now, I like Clayface as a character, but the fact that we're getting a Clayface solo project before a Batman solo project is just weird. Now, I'm sure it'll be decent, but I'm just very cautious about it. At number 27, I have Swamp Thing. This is another DCU horror movie, but the reason this is higher is because I know that Swamp Thing can carry his own project. This is going to explore the origins of Swamp Thing. Honestly, it would be great if they just made it like the Swamp Thing TV show, where Swamp Thing wasn't the main character but was instead the main antagonist. Just introduce a group of likable and interesting human characters and have them slowly picked off one by Swamp Thing, while also explaining his backstory. If they do that, then this movie will be awesome. At number 26, I have Superpowers. This is going to be an animated show based on the DC Superpowers collection line of toys. It's going to be about a school for superheroes where the students are Lightning, The Flash, Plastic Man, Aquaman, Green Lantern, and Terra, and the principal is Martian Manhunter. Now, I'm not hyped for a TV show that mainly serves just to promote an already existing toy brand, but the concept does sound unique, so I'm kind of excited. At number 25, I have the Blue Beetle animated series. This is going to be set in the DCU and will be loosely connected to the Blue Beetle movie, and all the cast members from the movie will be reprising their roles in the series. Now, I think the series does have potential, but I speak for all of us when I say we would much rather have a live-action sequel to the first movie. Like, yeah, the series seems cool and all, but I would like it a lot more if it was live-action. At number 24, I have Batman Arkham 5. Now, there's literally no information about this game aside from the fact that James Gunn has confirmed that Rocksteady is developing another Arkham game. Now, I love the Arkham games, and I'm excited for there to be another entry in the series. However, the studio Rocksteady isn't what it used to be, and after Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League became a live service game, it kind of killed my love for the studio. And plus, Batman died in that game, so how are they even going to continue the series after that? I'm still hyped for another Arkham game, but I'm also very worried about it. At number 23, I have Krypto. This is going to be a 4-episode web series, and it's just going to be a series of shorts featuring Krypto and tying into the new Superman movie. And I like how Krypto looks in the new Superman trailer, so I am open to the idea of him having his own series. At number 22, I have Starfire. This is going to be an animated series airing on Cartoon Network that follows Starfire and her friends as they go on a journey in space. It will be catered towards kids, which isn't a bad thing. The concept sounds interesting, but I just hope this is a standalone show and doesn't tie into Teen Titans Go at all. At number 21, I have Sergeant Rock. This is going to be a live-action movie set in the DCU and based on the DC character Sergeant Rock. It will be set in an alternate history World War II and will follow Sergeant Rock teaming up with a French resistance fighter to locate the Spear of Destiny before the Nazis do. Now, I don't know a whole lot about the Sergeant Rock character, but he was in Creature Commandos and he was cool in that series, so I'm excited to see him again. And the premise sounds a lot like the Wolfenstein games, which I love, so yeah, this movie sounds pretty good. At number 20, I have Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. This is going to be a follow-up to James Gunn's Superman movie and will be based on the comic of the same name, which apparently is pretty good. It will be a space epic movie featuring Kara Zor-El as the main character and Jason Momoa as Lobo, the main villain, which sounds awesome. Although I guess that means that he isn't playing Aquaman anymore, which is kind of disappointing. But everything about this movie sounds promising. I think it'll be good. At number 19, I have Bane and Deathstroke. This is going to be a DCU movie featuring Bane and Deathstroke as the main characters. Now again, I do think it is weird that we're getting all of these Batman spin-offs before we're getting a solo Batman movie, but after the success of Deadpool and Wolverine, I think another anti-hero team-up movie could be fun. Number 18, I have The Brave and the Bold. This is going to be the upcoming DCU Batman movie, which will be completely separate from Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson's version of the character. It will be a team-up movie with Bruce Wayne and his son Damian Wayne as Robin. Now, I am excited for the DCU to finally have their own version of Batman, but the fact it might come out during the Batman trilogy is probably going to confuse people. And it will also be directed by Andy Muschietti, who directed The Flash, one of the biggest flops in DC history. While I hope this movie will be good, it just has so much going against it. At number 17, I have Kite Man Hell Yeah Season 2. The first season was very fun, and I'm excited for a follow-up. And this season is supposed to have Brainiac as the main villain, which is very exciting. At number 16, I have Bat Fam. Now, as cringe as that title is, I did enjoy Merry Little Batman, and this series is a sequel to that, so I hope it'll be just as fun as the movie. At number 15, I have The Authority. The Authority is a team of anti-heroes that was created by Wildstorm, which was a competitor of DC, but later, DC bought out Wildstorm and integrated all those characters into their universe. This movie will be set in the DCU, and some members of the Authority will be introduced in other projects like James Gunn's Superman. Now, it is kind of weird because two members of the Authority, Midnighter and Apollo, are literally parodies of Batman and Superman. So the fact we have parodies of Batman and Superman existing alongside Batman and Superman themselves seems kind of odd, but I'm sure they'll be able to make it work. And we've had anti-hero solo movies before, but never an anti-hero team movie. This movie looks epic and it will tie into other projects too, which is very cool. At number 14, I have Creature Commandos Season 2. I like the first season and I'm glad we're getting a continuation, but I just hope there will be less flashbacks this season because the amount of flashbacks we got in Season 1 was pretty annoying. Season 2 will feature a new iteration of the team though, with King Shark as one of its members, which is very exciting. At number 13, I have My Adventures with Green Lantern. This is going to be set in the same continuity as My Adventures with Superman and will expand on that universe. And it will include Jessica Cruz as Green Lantern. Now, I'm not a huge Jessica Cruz fan, but I did really like My Adventures with Superman, so I'm sure this series will be great too. At number 12, I have Harley Quinn Season 6. I like the Harley Quinn show, it's a fun series, and I'm excited for another season. And as long as the series keeps reinventing itself, I'm eager to see where it goes next. At number 11, I have Lanterns. This is going to be a DCU show featuring Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart as they try to solve a murder mystery on Earth that ties into the main storyline of Chapter 1. And it will also include other Green Lanterns like Guy Gardner, who is first going to appear in the new Superman movie. Now, I really like the Green Lantern characters, but they have been disrespected a lot in pop culture recently, mostly because the 2011 movie was so horrible, but I hope this movie will help Green Lantern become respected again. I think this series sounds very interesting, and the fact it will include multiple Green Lanterns is interesting as well. At number 10, I have Batman Caped Crusader Season 2. I thought the first season was amazing, easily the best Batman cartoon we've gotten since the animated series. Even though it focuses a little too much on the side characters for my taste, it still had a very dark and engaging story, and I can't wait for this series to continue. And this season will feature the Joker, who was creepy as hell when he was teased in Season 1, so I'm hyped to see what this version of the Joker has to offer. At number 9, I have My Adventures with Superman Season 3. I love the first two seasons, and I can't wait for the series to continue. And this season will introduce Lana Lane and Superboy. It's good that they're expanding the cast for this season, and I'm sure it'll be great wholesome fun just like the first two seasons. At number 8, I have Booster Gold. This will be an upcoming DCU comedy series about Booster Gold, who is a genius from the future who travels to the past in order to become a superhero. Now, the DCU is already great at managing both comedic and serious moments, which is what you need for a character like Booster Gold, and this project has the potential to be something truly interesting. At number 7, I have the live-action Teen Titans movie set in the DCU. Now, I'm a huge Teen Titans fan. They're easily my favorite team in all of DC, though they might be tied with the Watchmen, and I am very hyped for them to get their first live-action movie. Just make it like the original Teen Titans cartoon and it'll be great. At number 6, I have the upcoming DCU video games. Now, no specific games have actually been announced yet, but there will be games that will be set in the DCU and will bridge gaps within the story of the movies and series, which could be awesome if they could do it in the style of the Star Wars Jedi games. Just have a standalone story that's good on its own, but also connects to an already established universe. However, these won't be coming out for a long time, as the first game started development in 2024. And James Gunn said the games would take 4 years to make, so these games won't start coming out until 2028 at the earliest. However, I am very excited at the idea. At number 5, I have Dynamic Duo. It's going to be a theatrical animated movie featuring Dick Grayson and Jason Todd. Its animation will be a hybrid of motion capture, stop motion, and CG animation. Now, there's not a lot of details about the plot, but it won't be released until 2028, which is great because it means they're actually taking their time with this project to make sure it's as good as it can be. If they do this right, it could end up being the next Spider-Verse in terms of quality. At number 4, I have James Gunn's Superman movie. This is going to be the first movie of Chapter 1 and will introduce a completely new version of Superman. Now, Superman is literally the face of DC, and this movie is going to introduce not just this version of Superman, but a bunch of other superheroes as well, including setting up the Justice League. We haven't had a solo Superman movie in 12 years, so this movie is long past due, but the trailers look great and David Corenswet fits the role very well. I can't wait to see it. At number 3, I have Peacemaker Season 2. I really liked Peacemaker Season 1. It was funny, action-packed, and emotional, and it got me to really care about Peacemaker, who I thought was a very one-note character in the Suicide Squad. Now, this season is kind of weird because it takes place after The Flash rebooted the entire DC universe, So some plot points from season 1 will carry over, like most of Team Peacemaker, and Rick Flag Sr. will be the main villain trying to get revenge on Peacemaker for killing his son. But it will also tie into the new universe and will include new characters like the new Justice League and the new version of Maxwell Lord. While it has a lot of heavy lifting to do, I hope they stick the landing and make the season just as great as the first. At number 2, I have The Wolf Among Us 2. The first Wolf Among Us game is one of the best Telltale games of all time. The atmosphere, the characters, the twists, everything was amazing. And we have been waiting for a sequel for a long time. And while 12 years is a very long wait, I can't wait to see how this game picks up from where the last game left off. But at number 1, I have The Batman Part 2 and The Batman Part 3. The Batman Part 1 was easily my second favorite DC movie of all time behind The Dark Knight. It was gritty, dark, and he was able to add new complexity to a character who hasn't changed much in decades. And the Penguin was also amazing. It was darker, more violent, and in my opinion, even better than the original movie. So I am beyond hyped for the franchise to continue. Part 2 is going to include the Joker as the main villain, which is very similar to what The Dark Knight did, but I trust what Matt Reeves has planned. And they're also considering including Hush, Mr. Freeze, Calendar Man, and the Court of Owls as villains, which sounds very interesting. And this movie isn't going to come out until 2027, which means Matt Reeves is really taking his time and trying to get this movie to be the best it can be. If the sequels are even half as good as the original Batman, then it will be worth the wait. And that is why The Batman Parts 2 and 3 are my most hyped upcoming DC projects. But that's my list. Did you learn about any new projects? Which of these projects are you excited for? Do you think the Batman Part 2 will be delayed again? I hope not. Let me know in the comments below. I am Midnight Drift, and I will see you later.